The King and Queen of the Ring tournaments have begun, and we're here to predict who's going to win it all. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We're the Cousins Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers. Talk about some wrestling.
Yeah. Women's, men's, King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring. It's always a fun time.
Yeah.
I've always liked this. I liked when they had it back in the day, and then they kind of went a long time without it, and they brought it back. And I'm happy they did.
Yeah, winners this year get a shot at the titles at SummerSlam, which I believe is the same thing that happened last year. It just happened at the King and Queen of the Ring PLE instead of Night of Champions, which is where it's happening now. We've gotten 2 Fatal 4-Ways already. There are 4 Fatal 4-Ways happening over the course of the next 2 Raws and SmackDowns that will feed into our tournament. We have 2 brackets. We're going to go bracket by bracket. We'll do women's and the men's. And we're going to predict who's going to win this thing. So let's get started. One woman has already qualified, Roxanne Perez. She defeats Liv Morgan, Kairi Sane, and Rhea Ripley. Jesus, what a stacked Fatal 4-Way that was. And what was a phenomenal match, so she already moves on. That leaves us with a SmackDown match. I mean, I guess they haven't announced which one we're getting yet. Doesn't matter. We're predicting all of it. So we'll start with the match of Jade Cargill versus Michin versus Piper Niven versus Nia Jax. Who do you have winning this one?
Yeah, you look at this bracket, it's kind of a stacked bracket.
Oh, dude.
There's a lot of, you look at the Fatal 4-Ways and you're like, oh, well, I could see this one or this one or this one.
Yeah.
I want to say before I reveal my pick here,
Uh-oh.
These aren't really my personal choices.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
I did mine based off of what I think WWE is going to do,
me
right?
too. Me too.
So you look at it here. I picked Jade Cargill on this one.
Okay.
I think Jade Cargill is kind of the standout. She's been the one that you can list here out of these 4 that's been on TV regularly. She's interacted with Tiffany and Charlotte and Alexa, obviously Naomi and Bianca as well. I think they're really starting to see okay, Jade's really kind of stepped her game up. Mm-hmm. She's looked amazing in all the matches that she's had. So that would kind of be the big time, hey, SummerSlam, here you go sort of thing. If she does go on and win it. So I just have her, plus you have her matching up against Roxanne in the second round. I think that would be huge because I think Roxanne's a person that can really make Jade look good. And I think Jade kind of needs that in a sense. I don't really see many other options out of this one, I guess.
I'm glad you picked Jade Cargill because we're already off to a hot start. I'm going Nia Jax. Ooh. We have an Evolution 2 PLE right down the street. And Nikki Bella has kind of started that one off. She was the first one to mention it on TV, right? So we're in the Evolution 2 season now. And I think that Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair have been aimed and on course for that. The Evolution 2.0 pay-per-view. So I think that we're going to have Jade Cargill deal with that kind of stuff. Now, do I have any idea how this match is going to go down? I don't really know. We have a Fatal 4-Way. You got 2 people here who can be pinned, Michin and Piper Niven. I mean, hell, Chelsea Green might come out there and smack Piper Niven and lay Nia Jax on top of Piper at this point, the way she's been doing stuff. But Nia Jax won it last year. I think her losing in the first round would be a big time upset. You're going to have promos from her saying, I already won this thing. I'm going to win it back-to-back years. So I think that writes itself. So I think Nia Jax is going to move on to face Roxanne after this one.
Yeah, I think that's also important to note that she did win it last year. And while her run as champion was awesome, kind of really started there, she hasn't really been in a whole lot since.
Nope.
So
a whole lot since.
Yeah. Well, I see what you did there. Yeah, there's definitely, you look at this match, there's 2 that can take the pin, and there's 2 I could see advancing.
Yeah. Well, moving on to the Raw side, we're going to flip back to it. Asuka's making her return. They just kind of put the bracket up there, and we're like, oh, well, there's Asuka. I haven't seen her in a while. Nice to be back, I guess. Fatal 4-Way match scheduled for next Raw is going to be Asuka taking on Stephanie Vaquer, taking on Raquel Rodriguez, taking on Ivy Nile. Who's going to move on in this one?
Yeah, so this one, like you said, the Asuka return is there, and then they run the promo package later on in the episode, and you're like, oh, well, I guess they could have just done question marks, like how the men's have question marks, but it's whatever. Yeah, this one, again, I see Raquel not being able to win this because of maybe some potential Rhea Ripley interference here. And then Asuka returning is awesome. I have missed Asuka. It's hard to say that. Ivy Niles here to take the pin.
Yeah.
She's taking it from one person. That is Stephanie Vaquer.
Or
Vaquer, as some people like to say,
Yeah, I have Stephanie Vaquer too. I thought for sure you were going to pick Asuka. And Do I have many story purposes and reasons here? Not really, honestly. Asuka's coming back. She's probably she already got a big promo video after they did the tournament on the screen first, which is weird. So it's going to feel like a big return, but Stephanie Vaquer has all the heat in the world behind her. What I mean by heat, I mean like rocket boots. Like she's just going to the top. She's so over right now. And it is a fatal 4-way match that has multiple people who can get pinned here. Rhea Ripley's going to come out and screw Raquel Rodriguez because Raquel did that this week to Rhea Ripley. So that's just done. Ivy Nile is probably just there to take pins here. And it's a fatal 4-way match, so Asuka doesn't really have to be involved in it at all. I just think that, Asuka's going to... Kairi Sane lost here, right? Asuka and Kairi Sane can do tag work maybe. I have no other reason other than I think Stephanie Vaquer is just hot right now, and she's going to win this match.
Yeah, and that's kind of the one thing that I thought of as well as the tag stuff with Kairi and Asuka. Kind of makes sense there. And Stephanie, if you don't really have her win this, I feel like you're really kind of missing a chance. If you don't have her win this match, you're missing a chance to really kind of continue that rocket boost because you're like, oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
that was cool.
Which people are gonna argue and be like, well, that's the same thing with Asuka's return. And it's like, you know what, you're right.
Asuka's already like solidified.
Yeah,
I feel like so
that's true. Last SmackDown Fatal 4-Way match will be Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss versus Chelsea Green versus Candice LeRae. Who's going to win this one? I guess you've been going first the entire time, right? I have Alexa Bliss winning this one. I have Alexa Bliss moving on for the reasons that I gave earlier for my reason of Nia Jax. I think Charlotte and Jade are on a collision course for Evolution 2 in order to give that the proper build that we need. I think they need to be kicked out of this tournament. Alexa Bliss, speaking of somebody who should have rocket boots on her feet, she's Alexa Bliss. She needs to be in the title scene again at some point. She's already did the promo with Tiffy, so that's one thing. Chelsea Green, love her to death. She looks like an idiot for the past 2 months. She's not winning this match, and then Candice LeRae is Candice LeRae, all right? I got Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, this one is the one I had the toughest time with. I went back and forth between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Ultimately, I chose Charlotte.
Woo!
So I went ahead, chose Charlotte for this one, which found me at the end of it thinking to myself, man, what do they do with Alexa Bliss? Like, it's almost like a sink or swim type of thing, I guess. Like, in terms of, like, you got to do something with her. If you don't here, you're really missing the opportunity. But they've kind of just continued to show that they're not really going to do anything with her. You also mentioned Alexa Bliss had that promo with Tiffany. Charlotte was also there as well, so they hinted at that. Yeah. Charlotte's also interacted with more of them as well. I'll be interested to see in this match if we get some sort of team up, because Alexa Bliss not too long ago was trying to talk to Charlotte Flair and
Queen.
Yeah. Well, they teamed up, or she's like, let me talk to you for a minute, and then camera faded. So I'm interested to see what that happens with that, because nothing ever happened with that. But I'm going Charlotte Flair here. Well, not that I am very confident about that pick, though.
Well, I'm interested in our picks for this next one, though, because we're going to have 2 semifinals that are completely different from one another. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have Roxanne versus Jade Cargill, and I'm going to have Roxanne versus Nia Jax. Do we have the same person moving on here? Because I have Roxanne Perez moving on to the final in Saudi.
No, we don't.
Oh.
No, I got Jade Cargill going to the final. I just think Jade has a lot of stock built up, for me at least, and so maybe that's I don't know. Roxanne feels like somebody that she could have a great match with anybody in the final, but I just feel like Jade, maybe it is her time. I feel like there's a real chance to kind of capitalize on the Naomi, Bianca's, her stuff. Bianca hasn't really been on TV. Naomi gets the briefcase now. So maybe it's time to kind of push Jade kind of in that direction, kind of nudge her a little bit as well.
Yeah, I have Roxanne. Obviously, you picked Jade, which I kicked out for my reasons that I've already said multiple times already about the Evolution 2 match. I think Roxanne's story with the Liv and Judgment Day stuff is going to carry through on this all the way to Saudi. I think it's going to be something where Liv is seeing Roxanne succeed. She's going to be succeeding in these matches. She's going to be this close to getting Judgment Day a shot at a championship match at SummerSlam. And that's going to lead to just more and more of the Liv, Dom, Raquel, Finn stuff. So I have story here over Nia Jax, because Nia Jax would be in this match for me. Nia's great, but Roxanne, Saudi. That's what I got.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point in terms of the story with that. It would be nice to kind of see that.
Yeah. And then on the other side of the bracket, we're also going to have 2 separate people, but we have one same person, which is Stephanie Vaquer.
Yep.
I have her taking on Alexa Bliss. You have her taking on Miss Charlotte Flair. Who do you have winning this one?
Yeah, like I said, with the Charlotte SmackDown Alexa Bliss match, I went back and forth about Who wins this? Who goes on to face Stephanie? Either way, I had the other person winning. So I have Charlotte winning this one.
Okay.
And Charlotte advancing to the final.
Okay. I did not have Stephanie Vicari either. I have Alexa Bliss. So, I mean, that I also kind of looked at this as in it could, I think both sides are probably going to be Raw, SmackDown.
That's probably a really fair thought. But for me, at least, I guess, I had Jade and Charlotte. So your evolution that you talked about, I have that happening here.
Right.
Especially because Jade was cutting a promo in the back and Charlotte said there is only one queen. So that also makes me think at least maybe there's something there. Maybe they hinted at it a little bit. But ultimately, one Raw and one SmackDown is probably the way that they go. So if that is the case, what do you have? Roxanne,
Alexa.
Yeah, I mean,
which would slap, but so would Jade and Charlotte.
Yeah.
So you'll go first on this one then. Screw it. Jade, Charlotte. You have Jade, Charlotte in the final. I have Roxanne Perez and Alexa Bliss in the final. But who do you think should win the Women's Queen of the Ring tournament?
Yeah, and you kind of look at it. I guess I should preface this by saying, yeah, the one Raw, the one SmackDown makes a whole lot of sense. That is probably what they do. But the SmackDown women's division has been just so much better as a whole to me, at least, right? Yeah. So you got Jade Cargill, Charlotte Flair, like you say, your evolution. I've got Jade Cargill winning this one. Okay. I've got Jade Cargill being the queen of the ring this year. I really just have it in terms of she's wrestled Tiffany before. There's been a lot of interaction with her and Tiffany kind of building up. There's also Naomi with the potential of the briefcase of the cash-in, maybe at SummerSlam. So something like that, that's really kind of what I'm thinking. There has to be something big for me to think Naomi's going to cash in, and what better way than during a Tiffany and Jade match at SummerSlam. That sounds kind of cool to me. That's kind of this whole thing for me is building up the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, to me, I have Alexa Bliss beating Roxanne Perez in the final at the Queen of the Ring in Saudi. I have Alexa Bliss doing it because I think that Alexa versus Tiffany at SummerSlam sells. I mean, that's the two of the best blondes in the WWE, right? That's just going to be a phenomenal on the mic promo work. They've already interacted once already. Charlotte was there as well, so you have her in the final as well, so that does work. And then I think that Naomi and Alexa have both kind of been poking Tiffany in the side over the last couple weeks on SmackDown. So if you do want to cash in at SummerSlam, a Alexa Bliss versus Tiffany match works into that story as well, because Naomi's kind of clouded around that whole thing. So I think Alexa Bliss gets back into the title scene in the WWE by winning at Saudi.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see kind of what happens. And we're, I guess, assuming that it's going to be Tiffany, right? It might not be Tiffany because Evolution. Before SummerSlam. So yeah. So this might all be out the window by that point.
It probably will be all out the window.
That sounds about right. But I do think Naomi, no matter who it is, really, I feel like Naomi either cashes in at Evolution or at SummerSlam. Those are kind of your two.
Yeah, that's true.
And if that is the case, she could cash in at Evolution. She could take the title, and then Jade could be Queen of the Ring. You could have Naomi, Jade for the title, SummerSlam. You could do that.
Damn. That's a lot of logic. It's a lot of logic,
but it also a lot of dominoes. Somebody called pizza. You know,
it's gonna be randomly. Does Goldberg have a daughter? It's gonna be Goldberg's daughter in this match. Let's move it on to the men's side. Sami Zayn on Monday. He already qualified or moved on. He beat Penta, Braun Breaker, and Dom Mysterio, which was a phenomenal match as well. LA Knight got involved there. Obviously, Sami Zayn is known as the Saudi Man, so he should be looked at as a prime guy in this one. Mm-hmm. But we'll move on to what's going to be assumedly the match on Friday this week. It will be Randy Orton taking on LA Knight, taking on Aleister Black, taking on Carmelo Hayes. Who's moving on in this match?
Yeah, and I think they've already announced that this will be.
Oh, this already announced
this week.
Okay.
Yeah. So, this one was pretty simple for me. You have Aleister Black and LA Knight in the same match, and they've kind of already gone back and forth. They did have the match right before Money in the Bank, and it seems like maybe that's the next program we're getting for both of them. So you look at it, Carmelo Hayes and Randy Orton. Well, I like Melo. He doesn't miss, but I mean, it's Randy Orton.
Yeah.
So I got to pick Randy Orton here.
Yeah, I have Randy too. I mean, there's too many stuff here. LA Knight literally just screwed over Braun Breaker out of his match, so I'm guessing they're going to show up and screw LA Knight as well there. You have Aleister Black and Carmelo Hayes, who have been in the little mini rivalry they've had over the past month with The Miz and it's freaking Randy Orton in his return back to SmackDown. He's fighting on SmackDown. Randy Orton doesn't fight on SmackDown for no reason. Him versus Sammy will be a huge match. I have Randy Orton here.
Yeah, I guess that is a good point. They did have a Aleister Black, Carmelo Hayes. They did do a little something. And then he also fought LA Knight as well, which, then I totally forgot about LA Knight and Braun on Raw. So yeah, that's definitely going to happen.
Sheamus versus Rusev versus Bronson Reed versus question marks. Question marks. They didn't do that for Asuka, but they're doing that with whoever's in this match. First off, before we predict the winner, who's going to be the question mark man?
Yeah, again, this is who I think they're going to do, not who I want. I want Mr. Iguana. I think everybody wants Mr. Iguana.
Hero.
That's for the people. It's going to be Ilya Dragunov for me.
Yep, same.
I think he's coming back. You got the 3 super heavy guys here. Ilya hits just as hard as any of those guys, and you need somebody to kind of sell a little bit in this match. You do have Rusev and Sheamus. They're at odds here. You have Bronson Reed here, assuming maybe you get another LA Knight or somebody interfering here with that costs him maybe. So I got Ilya Dragunov, the mystery man, whoever it is, Mr. Iguana, Joe Hendry. I saw people throwing out Karrion Kross. You should probably not hope for that.
Yeah, don't hope for that.
Whoever the mystery person is, they're winning this match.
I completely agree. I have Ilya Dragunov being the mystery man and winning this match for all the reasons that you just said. Sheamus and Rusev, they're going to be doing their own stuff. Bronson Reed's probably going to get attacked from LA Knight. Yeah, somewhere in there. Ilya coming back, having a big return. 3 guys who are in their own story stuff going on. They don't need it. Move on, Ilya. Hopefully it's Ilya. And don't get your hopes up, Cross fans. At this point, I don't know which is sadder, Finn fans or Karrion fans. I don't know.
Well, I would say Karrion fans. I'm
at
one
least
of them.
Finn wrestles.
Yeah, exactly. This Finn's on TV in matches, you know.
We'll go to the last SmackDown Fatal 4-Way, though. It is Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest. By the way, they just did a podcast together, and it was absolutely great. I listened to it. Versus Andrade versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm going to just go ahead and say Cody Rhodes wins this. It's Cody Rhodes, and Andrade is Andrade. He's not going to get pinned here. Shinsuke Nakamura is getting pinned here. They're going to probably carry most of the match, Andrade and Shinsuke. And then Damian Priest has kind of been going back and forth with Jacob Fatu. They've kind of had like a respectful duel lined up for a while. I don't know if Solo is going to come back and play a role in any of this. I don't know, but I think that's the road for them. And I think that it's Cody Rhodes. Okay, it's Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's Cody Rhodes. So I'm not going to bet against him. That's going to be my pick. But a sleeper thing that might happen, I mean, well, no. I was thinking way too big. No, it's Cody Rhodes. Yeah. I was going to try to come up with some shenanigans, malarkey, and baloney. Cody Rhodes is malarkey proof.
We are, the women's bracket, we were basically completely different. Men's bracket, we're just on par with. That leads us to the semifinals on the left side of the bracket. Sami Zayn, Randy Orton. Who's going to go to Saudi?
Yeah, I would say that the men's bracket's a little bit easier to predict.
Yeah.
The women's bracket, like I said, there's so many different stories. And honestly, with the women's bracket, there's a lot of people that I could be like, yeah, you could win this, and I'm not going to, that's awesome.
If we did this last week, I wouldn't have picked Roxanne.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's very fair. Sami Zayn, Randy Orton. I mean, you already said he's a Saudi man. Yeah. I got to go with Saudi Sammy.
Saudi Sammy, yeah.
So that's who I'm picking here.
Yeah, I picked Sami Zayn here. I don't know how that match is going to go down. I'm hoping by this point we have more, as we just talked about him, I'm hoping we have more Karrion Kross in Sammy's head here. And maybe Sammy during this tournament run may have to turn to the dark side a little bit more and follow what Karrion's saying. Obviously, that's copium, hopium, whatever you want to say. I don't think that's going to happen. But one way or another, Sammy's going to Saudi here, dude. It's Saudi Sammy.
Yeah, and it's kind of tough to pick against Randy Orton. I mean, it is Randy Orton. But then you think about it, you think about the logistics. And, I mean, they always have Sammy in a prominent role, obviously, there. So it's kind of like, if he doesn't do this, what does he do?
Yep. On the other side of the bracket, we both have Cody versus question mark man, which is going to be Ilya, in our opinion. Cody.
Maybe.
Cody versus Iguana. Iguana obviously goes over.
Iguana would be king of the ring.
Yeah, he would be. But Cody versus question mark Ilya. Are we still picking Cody to go to Saudi here?
Again, it's so what I just said was Sami Zayn. If you don't have him in the final, Cody Rhodes.
Plus, it leads to this final being interesting. I mean, Sammy and Cody have had a ton of interactions over Cody's return, and they've been buddy, very good friends with one another throughout the entire thing. So you have like a buddy storyline here of like, may the best man win. And then, like I said, you might have the Karrion Kross planted in Sammy's head, which would add a layer of story element here, where Sammy is sort of the heel going into this match. But
yeah, I mean, I think you have Sammy, Cody there, and then I guess we'll just go right into who I think is going to win. I think you have somebody end up costing Cody Rhodes. I don't know if you have Sami Zayn just win clean. I have Sami Zayn being the king of the ring. Now, is that something I'm exactly excited for? Not if it's this current iteration of Sami Zayn. I would like some type of deeper, more evil, how Karrion Kross is saying you can be a bad guy. I would like that from Sami Zayn, but I'm picking Sami Zayn here. I feel like he really kind of needs it, especially because his whole thing is to stop Seth Rollins. So if his whole thing is to stop Seth Rollins, well, you have a title shot versus Gunther. I know we've already seen it. I know we're going to get pushback from a lot of people, or people might push back on me and say, we've already seen that. Why would we want to see it again? I get all that. If you have a different iteration of Sammy, a different kind of motive for Sammy, maybe it's a little bit different. Maybe it hits harder. And honestly, looking down the road, you might end up, I mean, I don't see Logan Paul's name on here. Logan Paul was obviously, him and Cody Rhodes went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Maybe you get something with that. I mean, honestly, because he's going to be there. So some way, somehow. So maybe you get him costing Cody Rhodes. I don't know.
We both have Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn at Saudi to take on each other for the King of the Ring tournament, championship, whatever you want to call it, for the title shot at SummerSlam. And I'm with you. I have Sami Zayn winning this match. I do. I think that it's time. The story is kind of parallel to Jey Uso right now in the build up to Jey Uso getting the championship. It was like Jey came to the point where he felt like it was time for him to win a championship here. And Sami Zayn's sort of on that same tour right now. And you have guys like Karrion Kross telling him he can't do it. And then you look at it down the line, it's like, who's he going up against? Well, the guy he went up against at WrestleMania, and we told this exact same story a few years back with Gunther, the guy who is the man that lets the up-and-comers, not the upper-comers, he's the man who lets the underdog come up, rise from the ashes, and finally do it and win the championship, right? So I think I'm with you here. I think Sami Zayn's going to win King of the Ring. He's going to go on to SummerSlam to fight Gunther, maybe win that thing for a split second before Seth Rollins cashes in. But Sami Zayn's going to win this thing.
Yeah, so I mean, now that I'm looking at it, thinking about it as well, because the story, I think, is that. I think you do end up having Seth Rollins either Sammy is champion for a split second, he gets cashed in on at SummerSlam, or maybe just during the match, Rollins cashes in, WrestleMania style, and doesn't let the match really conclude there. I'll say Naomi maybe cashes in at Evolution for me, and then you have Jay Naomi at SummerSlam. Then you got Gunther, Sammy, Seth Rollins cash in there. Then both your Money in the Banks are out of the way. Triple H doesn't like them. That's a pretty quick quick disposal of both of them.
We both have both Money in the Banks cash in by SummerSlam at the latest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then the other reason why I didn't pick Cody Rhodes here, I love Cody Rhodes. I'm wearing a Cody Rhodes shirt here, but I feel like if Cody was just the Crown Jewel champion last year, and then you have him turn around and win King of the Ring, it's like, well, this is the Cody Rhodes show. Every Saudi show, Cody Rhodes, it's the Cody Rhodes show. Not a bad show in my opinion, but I know people won't always like that.
Yeah, I'm with you, though. I think somebody's got to come screw him over. I don't know who it could be. I mean, you could have John Cena later in the night. I don't know, because we still have the SummerSlam match, which is probably still going to be Cena-Cody, so he may lose this match and still walk out with the title match, but you know what? Whatever. It's Cody Rhodes. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had two totally different brackets in the women's division, but the exact same one in the men's division. That tells you a lot, but I'm looking forward to all this. The matches are all going to be phenomenal. King of the Ring tournaments are very, very cool. Let us know in the comments what you guys think, who you guys want to see win these tournaments. Be a good discussion in the comments. And then, of course, come watch them with us on Raw and SmackDown and PLEs on our live streams on youtube.com/@CODWrestlePod. And then for everything else for the podcast, @CODWrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. We have a link tree in our bio. It's got all of our socials, all of our everything. Go ahead and follow all that. We're very confident that you guys are going to love this type of wrestling content. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you next time.